telephone. Again, you will still be conducting such an interview there. And so when we come down to the second paragraph at the bottom of page 638, highlight visiting salons before you graduate is also a good way to network. Many salon owners and managers are eager to meet students looking for employment. So at the same time, this will give you the opportunity to compare different types of aesthetic salon services, menus, prices, styles of management. And then, of course, at the same time, requesting this information. Now, the little checklist is a cute little way to kind of make sure you kind of cover certain things as you are out and about looking at this salon versus that salon. You can pretty much ensure that you're covering certain things that is kind of important, like their prices, comparing the prices, the value, the management, the client services that's being offered, even down to the image. Because if you are out and about, very busy and looking at a lot of salons, you might forget what salon I visited, what she told me versus what he told me. I forgot their prices compared to their prices. So just to have a way to really track everything that you are gaining information from will be a good way to keep your record keeping as it relates to your job search. And this guy right here on the top of page 639, again, kind of helps you to keep everything in order, if that makes sense, and kind of, tight. Kind of thing. All right. So on page 640, there's another term that we hear a lot, and I kind of want to open up the floor with a little discussion as it relates to this right here. Networking, go ahead and highlight. Networking, by definition, is a subtle approach to increasing basically your scope of practice, your scope of clientele, your customers. Yes, it can be intimidating. Yes, it can be scary. But let me get you guys' feedback as it pertains to networking. How do you go about networking, especially for those that's in business, have their own businesses, or was in a position to where you had to network? What's sort of your feedback as it relates to that? What's the best way to network?
Just speak.
How do you network? What's your choice? What's your comfort?
Carry a nice, pleasant attitude.
Attitude
smile
is
on your
important.
face.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Smile is important.
Being presentable.
Being presentable.
Being willing to speak.
Being willing to speak.
You have to be willing to speak.
Okay.
A lot of people are not willing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's going to be key. Obviously, whenever we are networking, we have to be willing to open our mouths and let people know what it is that we do, what are we offering. But how does that look on a day-to-day basis? I hear you, but how does that look when you wake up in the morning and your objective is to network and get to know people? How does that look day to day today?
So for me, I start with like the people I know, maybe where I'm working at, kind of have conversations. What you do?
Yeah.
I walk up to a stranger. I like your earrings.
Yeah.
Begin a conversation.
Good.
My end goal is always to get to know what you do.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna
working around
tell you what I do.
Okay.
To that, and my idea with that is pretty much everybody I see,
Gotcha.
no matter where we are. Because again, you could be we could be in the grocery store line. Girl, where you move?
Good.
You know what I'm saying? And I find for me, because I am genuinely always giving compliments,
right.
That's I was able to use that as my ledgeway to start networking. I also look for events. I know who I am. I know where I don't want to be, so I don't go there.
Right.
But I look for events, free events, paid events. I look for conferences. I'm about to start going to the Black business professional conferences where all the Black NASA people, you know what I'm saying? Just looking for getting out there. Mm-hmm. And even though these are not my normal groups of people,
right?
These are still people that I have something that I can offer, whether it was my photography, you know what I'm saying? Something.
Gotcha.
So, also just making that move. I'll call the radio station. I'll call the newspaper. I'll reach out and try and think, who can I reach out to? And I feel like everybody is somebody gonna know somebody. So for me, networking is kind of like a everyday, all day thing. Everybody that it's a numbers game, you know.
And what I hear from you is also it's a conscious plan to do that. Like I'm out, I'm gonna talk to people, I'm gonna, make it my business to see what's going on with people.
Even like when I went to the baby shower, we had the baby shower, but Why would I be there and not give out people my information and
Yeah.
let people know who I am?
Absolutely.
That would have been, you know what I mean? That would have made no sense to me.
I get it.
Like I know I'm going to be around other women.
Absolutely.
I know I'm going to be around women I don't know.
Right.
This is a good opportunity for me.
Good.
And I did walk away with at least 3 people contacts and
Absolutely.
we exchange, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So yeah, it is a conscious thing, I think.
Good, good. I definitely agree with you on that when it comes down to networking. Does anybody have anything different as it relates to their daily approaches on the whole concept of networking? I know me personally, I'm scared of, I sometimes be scared of the word networking because I think sometimes when people, and I'm looking at like my students, sometimes will feel like the word networking can kind of be networking. I just kind of like to use the word a conversation. And that's really what you're saying, what you're describing, talking, opening your mouth, you know, you're just really having a conversation with people. And I've learned over time that people are wearing this invisible necklace that says, what's in it for me? And when you begin to look at people in the eye that they're wearing this invisible necklace, everybody wears it. What's in it for me? What's in it for me? And when you begin to understand everybody got it on, then you'll be able to approach everybody to open up the window for conversation. We're gonna need to talk because you know somebody is looking for something, if that makes sense. Also, something that I've learned that worked for me is that I realized even if I had a very slow day, if I had one person to come into my business and render any type of service from me, regardless of what it was, I always look at one person times 7 people. One person knows 7 people. So when I'm conversing with them, yes, I want to know about you, but I'm also speaking and trying to learn everything else around you. You married, you got children, do they got somebody, and they in school? What school they go to? But in my mind, the whole time, I'm trying to get a synopsis of everything, not just you, but I know you know 7 people. And so in that mindset, because I'm not maybe, I don't know a lot of people, whatever the case may be, I know one person do know 7 people. So technically, when I'm communicating with you, that's 7, 7, 7.
Yeah.
That's in my mind when I'm conversing and having a conversation.
Like my homegirl connected me to 2 stylists that we became cool with. One of the, because she know me, she know I'm a network, she know how they operate. One of the girls, her cousin needed photo shoot for his niece. Exactly. Me asking him, talking, networking. He's a lawyer. He was barred in New York and Jersey, and he was getting barred here. He does business contract. We are connected. We locked in.
Exactly.
And it just, you know what I'm saying? Then like the other one, same type thing. Like it just goes around full circle. Like she didn't say, oh, my cousin a lawyer. Oh, my cousin in law school. Oh, let me connect. It was none of that. She was like, oh, my cousin need a photographer.
Gotcha.
Oh, he'll like you. You'll like him. You know, that was the only thing. Like, y'all get along real good.
Gotcha.
We talking, doing the business, working, shooting. I'm running my mouth. What you do? What you in school for? Oh, you go to Central? Oh, what?
Yeah. What? That's how I go.
Oh, you a lawyer? Oh, explain to me. I got a business. I'm going to need you.
Right. Absolutely. And that's how it works. So
let's be friends.
Yeah, so that's how it works. Even when I was in the dollar store this morning, I was so pleased because it was 2 little girls on the aisle, on the beauty aisle.
Right.
And the little girl says, I heard her. She says, you're pretty. I didn't know she was talking to me. She says, excuse me, miss. I turned around. She says, you're pretty. I said, oh, thank you. You are pretty. You are so pretty. You and your sister are so pretty. Like,
even the kids doing
it. But they strike a conversation.
Right, even they know how to do it. Yeah.
Not even that. Just the fact that she's learning to compliment another woman at such a young age.
And communicate, though. But communicate.
Communication is huge.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
I thought you were twin.
I see.
I thought it was her friend. A potential friend.
What's the same height?
You know they Brittany.
Got the same height.
And we all chimed in on that.
No, but I mean, I thought like so I was thinking because when I got to the register, the old lady at the register was talking about it, and she was saying, yeah, I had 3 little kids come in here, they were talking my head off, and I was just thinking how some kids, they can't communicate. My daughter is a great communicator, but she's not outwardly friendly. So she would, I doubt, I'm not going to say she would never, but I couldn't see my youngest daughter just
taking that initiative.
She wouldn't, like, that's not the type of personality that she has at this time.
Yeah.
But to see that little girl, she might have been about 8 or 9.
Got you.
I was just so impressed with her. So, and her father, it must have been her father. He came up, and I started to compliment him, but I was like, let me go because I gotta go. And I'm a talker. So it was worth noting that little girl, she was so impressive to me. Like,
that's refreshing, though.
I love it.
Very refreshing.
It just made me so emotional because
that's very refreshing.
I didn't learn how to compliment women until I was a teenager. I had an aunt that complimented me every time she saw me. She would say, "Oh, you're so pretty," and I'd be like, "Auntie, why you say that every time you see me?" Ain't that something? And she said, "Because you're supposed to compliment someone when you see them."
That's it.
And that is a wonderful way to opening a conversation because you got so many people that don't learn that.
Gotcha.
So they would want to speak and they might say, "Oh, I really like that." They'll say it in their head, but they would never say it to the person.
That's how my kids are. They be like, "Mom, you say that you talk to everybody, you just giving everybody compliments." And I'm like, you never know what nobody's day is like.
That's the thing.
But that's what opens up the networking.
Yeah. That's what makes people like you.
Yeah.
And whatever you're selling, whatever it is that you have, people buy into you.
Yeah.
Right.
Not the product.
Right.
Yeah.
People buy into you before they see anything that you're selling.
Right.
I think because I'm one of those people who I don't like talking
She's
to
a little evil.
strangers.
That's bad. I mean, that's Ava.
Yeah.
I am an introvert. I don't like I'm not about to walk up to you. If I look at Miss Dane and be like, "Oh, her eyebrows are nice," but I'm not about to be like, "Oh, girl, your eyebrows look real good." That's my mom. I'm not.
But that's a simple. Oh, your eyebrows are so pretty.
Yeah.
But that could make her feel
It could.
better.
It
It's
could.
just
But
not the type of person.
She gonna
I
say
live
her
I'm in the generation where it is a
They
trend
gonna
to
type
be
it.
the mean girl. It's
You
a
we
trend.
had that era.
Oh, well,
Y'all,
it's
we
not
on the
the
internet.
mean
So
girl.
when we
Y'all
going? She on the internet.
We were meeting y'all in their face. Ready to fight.
Like more people are
Say something.
They gonna fight on the internet.
have this like don't approach me type of.
Or do they really? Because it seems like if you're not communicating, you don't know if that person
No,
feels that
but
or not.
I'm seeing like
I see that in Madison.
okay, so like I see on social media girls are arguing about dumb stuff all the time. And the first thing they say is you're fat, you're ugly, you're this, you're that.
Yeah.
So my thing is
They
like
don't
That's what
say
I
to their
face. Right. We had that
one
on
of those
face.
things where it's like
Yeah,
I wouldn't be comfortable just walking up to somebody, "Oh girl, I like your eyebrows," or even just
In
start
fear
a
of what?
conversation. Just
That they might not receive
Say something
it.
back to you.
maybe not receive.
What do you
maybe
think it'll
just
be? Like,
not-
why
say
not
whatever
that
they
can't
want.
receive it.
What would be the
Yeah,
reason
well,
why?
They better not say nothing too crazy.
No, but I think that's what it
But
is.
most people will enjoy.
But some people look so unapproachable. Like I'm one of those people. Like people are not gonna just look at me like,
Well, I'm unapproachable too.
Because
But
I have
no,
like,
the content you put out though, you seem approachable.
but you wouldn't know that. Like if you just saw me at the store walking by,
Oh, yeah.
you might like my glasses, but you might be like, what's wrong with her? Like
I'm gonna say something.
like,
That's
that's-
what's wrong with
maybe
you,
it's
girl.
because I already have that.
But see, a
Like,
person that is not
already
that
have the
extrovert,
RBF. Like people have told me, girl, when I first saw you, like you did not look like as cool as you are. Like you look mean. You look like a bee. Like they say those things. So when I go places, like last year, my goal was every time I left the house to pass out 5 of my business cards. If I stopped somewhere. So one day I had to go to the store to get a top. It was like 6 girls in there. I gave 3 my card. The other 2, they was like, they didn't look approachable in any sense. Like, hey girl, here's my card. Like that's all I was doing. Like, hey girl, I do nails up the street. Here's my card. I don't think that the 2 girls who I didn't give the card to would
Based off their looks,
right.
Okay.
So that's what turns me away from
the
like
way the person looks.
their demeanor. Yeah, the way they look. Yeah.
Them the ones that need it.
They
They need
exactly.
that compliment.
But you know what? I'm gonna tell you this. When
Them
at
the
my
ones that
last
need the
job,
compliment.
not my last job, but at MERS, my manager in one of my last meetings, she was like, the team feels that you are very intimidating.
Mhm.
Like they feel you're unapproachable. They feel like these people don't work with me for almost 5 years.
At this point.
And what I told her was, that's not my fault. All they have to do is say something, and I'm going to smile and say something back. Just
Right.
because I'm not wearing a smile
Right.
does not mean that you cannot say hello to me.
Right.
That's your fault for being a punk.
Right.
That's what I told her.
Right.
But in general,
That's
like
just-
in
you can't-
reality,
Right.
if a person does have that type of face, they could be so in their head.
Exactly.
They could be wanting to cry.
And that's why I'm
It could be that one nice thing that you say to them that could just make their day so much better. I actually compliment people because of that sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you never know what people are going through and what people got on their hearts and their heads. Like, people be going through so much.
Everybody going through. So as I
Everybody.
got older and know the stuff that I be going through and stuff that don't even be having really nothing to do with me, it just be kind of falling in my lap and it be weighing on me and it be other people's stuff, but I am still responsible because of my role in life. It's like, I know everybody is going through. It ain't even got to be the exact same thing, but when it comes down to it, it is very similar.
Yeah, and not only that, kindness is just a universal thing.
Yeah. I'm kind, like, I'm not really nice.
Regardless of how people look, kindness is just, even I don't see how the odds of somebody saying, girl, don't you be kind to me? I can't see how many people that would be mad. Don't be nice to you saying, girl, why you being nice? I can't. So the odds in that, I would take my chances. Let me do it. I would take my chances based off how a person looks. I will take my chances and you being mad because I'm saying hello. Because basically you're judging people without knowing them.
Right, exactly.
You're judging them. All you saying is, I think you look like you don't need my car. When in actuality, she might be the very one that will be your client.
You know that you're not approachable, but you know everybody know that you're the sweetest person. So just based off the look, don't really mean nothing.
Like somebody like TT, for instance.
Exactly, she's still sweet, but you know you gotta know her.
You gotta knock her out.
But you know,
I don't
people.
Like,
you gotta think of what people have been. So many people have been portrayed by their parents, their siblings.
You also have to look at demographics.
So they do have
in that area where I was at. It's not I would run into more TTs. That
I don't know.
Now you know what?
I think it's still judging.
Okay, so my aunt, she has a very bad attitude, like for no reason. Like if you looking at her, she just be like, look at it. Yeah, like,
but that's not nothing personal for me.
No, it's not something personal.
That's
but
still be like, hey, you still look nice.
So if I saw her and I was like, oh, your hair is really pretty, what would she say?
She's like, thank
my
you.
hair.
Yeah.
She ain't gonna be like, thank you, girl.
Because
she don't know you, but she will be like, thanks. Yeah.
That's
it.
Yeah, it'll be a dry thing.
That's why I'm like, what's your eyes?
I guess I gotta hurry up and get the compliment out. I can't be looking too long. I guess that's what it is. I be looking for the compliment. I gotta just get it out. Like I can't be looking at you like, you look like her hair.
No, you just gotta say it out loud. And then like, okay, bye. You know.
Yeah, if you don't like it, they be getting on me. They're like, you don't like her hair. But she thinks it's
no, that's what I'm saying. Like I gotta hurry up and get it out. Like I can't look like
wait to see her response.
No, like because sometimes I'll be looking like what's going on. Like I need to investigate first before I say, oh yeah, I do like that. I like your hair. Like, no, I gotta just hurry up and look. Oh, I like your wig, girl. Where you get that from? Like,
and I'll just throw it out.
Like, I like your hair and just keep it high. I ain't gonna look. Is that a wig or is that hair? Like, that's what I be doing. But I be want to know how you get your hair like that.
Well,
like,
then you
that's the conversation.
And that's the part where that's that space I think where people get confused. Like, why's she staring at me?
Yeah,
now that's when that space comes.
Yeah,
because when you hold it,
spit it out.
Yeah, because when you hold it like that, like.
Not somebody like, why you looking at me like
Yeah.
that? But you know what? For everything that I have just said, I'm not like that with white people.
Right.
I'm not one to just walk up and come
hello, how are
like,
you doing?
Not gonna do it.
You wouldn't just
black person, I would.
Probably
Mexican person.
It's gonna be a day. Y'all mark my word. Everybody mark today's date. Mark my word. It's gonna come a day.
What's the day? The 7th.
February 7th.
It's gonna come a day where you're gonna come back to this group.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm married to a white man.
I was absolutely not.
The devil is alive. Okay.
Mark my word. You know, I ain't gonna say married to a white man, but it's gonna be a good friend. It's gonna be one of your good friends.
I ain't never had a white man ever.
It's gonna be a good friend. It's gonna be a good friend.
You ain't open into it.
It's gonna be a good friend.
Somebody white coming your way.
I ain't just saying a man or woman. It's gonna be a good friend. You're gonna be like, wow.
They're gonna show
you
you
a good friend. Yeah, it's gonna be a good friend.
Then you took that all over there.
I was thinking the same.
I'm telling you.
And you know the first thing that popped. Nah, it's inappropriate.
I'm like, she gonna have a
It's gonna be
bestie.
a good friend.
I said he was gonna have a big old
No.
booty.
No, it's gonna be real. It's gonna be real.
But
real.
It could be a business partner.
But
That's
yeah,
what you need.
Exactly.
It is.
when
Yes,
you
it
went,
is.
you went straight to that. But how would you even know if you don't even give them the time of day?
Because they do have some. That's so
Like you went
stereotype
straight
is
to that, but
false.
what you gonna do? As soon as he come up to you, like, oh yeah, he look good. Let me see it. Like you gotta get to know him.
I mean,
But
it
I'm
would be
saying,
a
but
lot for me to get to know him. And that's it.
She just got that wobble. I feel you, Ms.
Mark
I
the
said
day.
the same thing.
Mark the day.
I can say
Everybody
I
see
would
the
say
day.
a
Somebody
good friendship
white.
with someone white. And I welcome that. It's not like I
You
want
could
to
take on a
feel like this.
approach
This is just my experiences.
I got you.
I don't want to feel like that. I really, really don't. Like I do need.
I know you don't. That's
I
why
need
when I
more
think it's
white
gonna be, they
clientele.
gonna come.
Yeah.
You gonna meet
And they're
somebody.
fine. The ones that I've had, they were nice. It's just not enough of them.
Right. So far, but you gonna get out a little bit more too and see some more.
Yeah.
You gonna get out a
She
little.
gonna have
Your
to.
career,
Yeah.
your
It's
career
gonna
gonna
put
take
you
you
in
to all
there.
these different
Yeah.
places.
That's true.
You
That's
understand what I'm saying? We get
Yeah.
to meet them on that level, not just no
She gonna
chilling
start
out.
going
Just,
to
I mean,
events.
Mary Kay gonna do that.
Exactly. You gonna
Clearly.
go to them events, them networking events.
Because we about to be a whole power team to
We
recharge
gonna
your
make
son and
it.
just
Like,
recharge
come on, girl, let's go on this trip. We gotta set things up.
so we get networking, correct? Everybody
Networking.
good on networking. Okay. How many of us had an interview before? How many of us had an interview?
everybody.
All right, so I have to spend no time on that. Perfect. So on the bottom of 641, it talks about the first step in getting hired is to arrange the employment interview. And so hopefully, and I'm at the bottom of 641, hopefully you have spent some time narrowing your search and getting in touch with your personal job requirements. And then of course, now you are ready to find the job. So again, it just talks about landing the job that you want, going out there to find exactly what fits you. Now, preparing for the interview. How do we prepare for an interview?
Sleep.
How do you prepare for an interview? Like, let's say the next day they want you to come in, they kind of want to fill you out. Y'all talk a little bit more about this position. And it can be any related job interview. Like, it doesn't have to be just where you're going, but where you've been. How do you prepare for an interview?
Go over my resume again because I probably lied.
Okay.
Ask some questions.
Yeah.
Write down some questions to ask them.
Got you. That's good. That's a very perfect way to prepare for an interview.
Yeah,
Knowing what I need to
That's
say.
it.
I researched the company so that I can have them questions and prepare my. I know they might ask me to describe a difficult time, so I already kind of get that scenario situation,
Yeah.
so I'm not fumbling.
Okay. All right.
I
Yeah.
don't do all that.
We know.
How would you prepare? How would you prepare?
I'm
She
more
ain't had
so.
no
She had enough jobs in
yeah.
this
She ain't-
interview.
yeah.
So you're out. How
I've
would you prepare?
definitely had enough jobs and enough interviews to know how to interview or to job.
That's not what I was saying.
But
How would you prepare for it?
I prepare for the interview, just kind of research the company or kind of just think about what I bring to the table. Because
Gotcha.
they usually don't care about what you know about the company. They want to know what you bring to the table. As soon as they say, tell me about yourself.
Right.
That's the hardest part for me to answer. What do you want to
I feel like
know?
that's a fluffer
Gotcha.
question.
So I kind of think what's important, what can I bring to the team? What are you asking? Because you see my resume, you see what I did.
Yeah.
But you're asking more so personality. Like, and I've been to interviews and they're like, I don't care about like what you do for school. Tell me about yourself. What's your favorite movie? Like,
Got you.
what are you into?
Your character,
Yeah, they want to know
basically.
you.
Yeah.
And I feel like based off the interviews that I've had I been a little bit more myself and not, hi, I'm here.
Yeah,
like,
the representative.
Then I probably would have got that job
Okay.
because they don't want to see the representative. They want to see
Absolutely.
who they about to hire
Absolutely.
when you get the job.
Absolutely.
Because I know jobs that I have had, you get the job and you a whole different person.
They want to
Absolutely.
see who they can make do what they want. Period. Like, trust
Which
me.
would
And
be
they do want to know what you know about their company too.
Which would
Yeah.
be the real you, because if I come in here and act like you finna
Nobody
do,
tells
I
them
think
the
more
real
so
thing.
nowadays in her generation coming up, yeah. And so when we were saying you hadn't had enough jobs, we're saying like from us coming up and getting prepared, those were the expectations. know a little bit about this company. So yeah, now times have changed. We in the 2000s. We ain't in the 90s no more. We ain't even in the early 2000s. So some companies are. Forget all that. Yes, I see your resume. Who are you? Because are you a troublemaker?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Would you bring some trouble? So they are
Yeah.
asking a little
Yeah.
bit to get to know you a little bit personal. When you go into a restaurant or,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Certain jobs that
Because
require your
skill, so what you're saying
personality.
is basically, what I'm thinking you're saying is, character might be weighing more than skill during this time.
During
this
this time,
point,
Or is
yeah.
a skill more important than
It depends
character?
in the
The
corporate.
character, because well,
That's
maybe
what I'm
in
trying to
corporate-
get
I
at.
think
might
on
be
the
now.
corporate, the skill is still gonna outweigh the character because they're gonna try and mold you to
Yeah,
what
they're
they
gonna
they
make
think.
you do what they want
So
you
in
to
corporate, the skill is
Skill.
still outweighing. Any other job is about character,
Okay.
characteristics.
Well, I just
your
took corporate out because
persona.
we're not going back to corporate.
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
even
So yeah,
factor
I
that.
think
would
they would be
never
the only
work for
ones that would be
nobody's corporate.
skillless. So
Gotcha.
anybody else, yeah, even truck drivers, CDL people, like
Yeah, they're not caring about.
Nurse, how about nurses, doctors? Nurses, doctors. Skill,
I feel like
character.
skill.
that's
equal-
still gonna be
well,
corporate.
I
That's
think
still
it's
gonna
going.
be
still
I think
corporate.
it's going to be
I
equal
think-
because you can be a really good nurse or doctor, but how do they skill wise? But how would they know until they hire you? Just because you have these qualifications don't mean that you do it. It's a lot of these nurses who bought their license and stuff like that. That don't mean that they wasn't qualified. They just didn't do the work.
And there's a lot of them who don't actually work for a company. They're contracted with different facilities.
And it's
to
all about
do.
the skill.
So
probably
it's
at that
about
point.
the skill
And-
at that point. You know what
Yeah.
I
I mean?
feel like
And for
at
that
this
specific
point-
You got to
job,
travel.
But you see what I mean by the
Yeah.
skill versus character?
Well, I
Like,
think
what's
when you
important now?
when you speak about like corporate as opposed to more like service
Yeah.
industry,
Yeah.
I think character
Character
does
don't-
weigh more
In
heavily.
service.
Because when you're talking about service,
Because
it's
some
how
people
you're
people
treating
service
people
Yeah.
and
Right.
what you're doing for people. So that could be not necessarily truck driving, but kind of truck driving because when they taking off the loads
I'm
and
with
picking
you.
up the loads, they still got to be
Interact with
personal
people,
in
yeah.
a sense. Not
Yeah.
really,
I'm
they
with
really
you.
don't.
I'm with you.
But like when you speak on corporate, they hire you to do a job. What can you do? That's why the whole degree lies so heavily, which I've read somewhere that they're kind of shying away from degrees,
Yeah.
Oh,
which
yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
To me, that's complete blasphemy because why make everybody go to school? And
They don't-
I
they
remember
make you go
in-
to school.
but I remember maybe about 10 years ago, the bachelor degree was nothing. If you don't have a master, you are not making
Right.
any more than $25 an hour. Like you got to have a master's degree just to make $50,000 a year. So in corporate, skill is still going to be heavily weighed because they want to
it's a
know
cap.
what you
Yeah,
can do.
if you only
Like,
got a
what can
bachelor's
you-
and don't have a master's,
Yeah.
you can't get to the next level.
Yeah, and
So
it's like,
it is
how
a-
much can we train you? Because they're going to train you to do whatever they want you
There's
to
still
do.
a
Yeah.
cap there.
But as far as service wise, I do feel like
Like those
Character,
girls on the internet with the
what
nails
they're
and stuff.
saying,
I
you
would
know,
never go to
tell
them
me
to get
about
my
you.
nails done because I didn't see your character, what you portrayed on the internet.
right.
So now I don't want
It's
to
even
get
like
involved
service.
with
Like
that.
I had went
So
to
character weighs
What
it on that.
character
then.
weighs
right.
in
Like
our
I went
industry,
to a
yeah.
job interview for Top Golf. Drive Shack is what it's called. And my friend had never been a server,
Right.
but they still hired her because they liked her character, the character that she was.
Exactly.
And they're like, okay, we know you never served. We
Right.
really only hire experienced servers. This is what we can do for you so that you can become a server in our job based on who she was.
Gotcha.
He straight up said it. Y'all don't have to come to the interview acting like you want the job. Be yourself,
Right.
because that's who I'm going to see when you clock back in next week.
But see, in corporate, they don't want you to be yourself. They don't want in the service industry. They want to know if you have a child and you need this and you got this going on.
But when
In
we say corporate,
they don't
and
care.
help me understand because all I know is the beauty industry.
Customer
Corporate-
service,
corporate
a call
means what?
center.
Okay.
See,
Okay.
being
You
in
can't
somebody's
say that,
office,
though.
listen, you need to be here at this time,
Because there's some companies.
especially in a call center situation.
Okay.
Because I need you on these phones. I don't care if your kids not. I don't care about all of that.
Yeah.
Yes, you got doctor's appointments. You need to
My
arrange
good
all of
friend,
that
yeah.
around. You have so many.
But some companies do care. 'Cause
Yes,
I work for
few and far between though. They're
I
few
work
and
for
far
a
between.
call center. I came in after I've dropped my kids off when I had to
Yeah,
go
that's
to
not
work.
really feasible to a call center Like setup though, because if you're not there on the phones, who's answering the phone? So
The
maybe
phone.
you could have that
It
particular
is,
job.
I get what you're
But I
saying, but
remember
even
my
my
job,
job, I
they-
work a corporate job, like a Fortune 5. We work in finance.
That's right.
It's real lenient. It's really hard to get fired from that job. Like you can be late so many times, but what's going on? Okay, well, do you need another shift? Oh, your babysitter, you have like they are.
That depends
Okay.
on the
And
actual
it is-
company.
Yeah, that's
Because
what I'm saying. There
I
are-
got a friend right now. She's in training. If she's late 2 times to training,
But that's training.
But that's training. That's
but listen,
yeah.
the training. Okay, so listen to this. Her actual hours are 11 to 8. The training is from 8 to 5. The training is an 8-week period. First of all, that's a long training period.
Yeah.
And if you're late 2 times, you're going to automatically lose your job. Look at all of the stuff that's going on. School's out. This weather, all of that.
I mean, I get it. Yeah, some
She gonna
companies
lose her
are really
job.
strict like
And
that.
a lot of places are like that. MERS was like that.
My
Right,
sister
very
worked
strict.
at a place like that, and she was working from home, and she had
At 8
doctor's
o'clock, you
appointments.
need
So
to be clocked on. You need to
Yeah.
be logged into this phone, or I'm calling
even
you
with a
before
doctor's
meeting.
note,
I
they
don't
still give
care.
her a point.
Because somebody got to answer these phones.
Yeah.
It depends on the broadband and like how busy this company is. If you got people calling from all times of day, and you got calls in queue and
I
nobody
think she
ain't
was
there,
working for a
work out
cable
and fine.
company.
Right.
For a
We can
cable
bring in
company.
somebody else that can
Right.
do this.
Yeah.
Right, which makes sense. Yeah.
Like
So for the structure
Yeah,
as
yeah.
a business,
some
I don't
companies
care about
really
what's
are,
going
yeah.
on. I need you on the phone.
Some companies are like that. Like even with
A
the
lot
doctor's,
of-
they give points, or like you said, if
I
you
think more
late,
being more lenient
they.
now.
But
You think it's changing, Brittany?
Well, I hope so.
I hope
that's
so after
terrible.
COVID, but
Because I will not work.
Yeah.
I don't want to work in a call center ever
I
again
hope
because
so
being
after
on the
COVID.
phones, like being clocked. If you're you were on break for 15 minutes and 45 seconds. Where were you at? Why
I
did
didn't
you?
want no
If you're on,
time.
if you do
Yeah,
this
we're
again,
doing
you're
like
gonna
that.
get written up. Like
Nah, y'all out anyway.
I just
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Yeah, I just don't
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah,
on
I
the
don't
scale
know.
of things, how big
work for
that
myself.
corporate.
Yeah, they be wanting to having you on
Attitude
the street.
it depends.
They
Think
wanna-
about think
It's
about the
saved.
actual company itself.
Yes.
So if you're talking about a AT&T, a Verizon, or
Yeah.
something where people are always calling, they don't want to see 100 calls in queue.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No,
Gotcha.
but if it's something like
So Apple like that.
Dollar
Apple's one of
General,
them
you know what I'm
companies
saying?
like
Everybody
that.
calling it customer
with
service.
you.
Like, it's all right if y'all miss a couple of calls. It's only 5 calls.
Right.
We ain't
It
got
don't weigh
10
as
calls
heavy,
in a whole
right.
hour.
Gotcha.
So it doesn't weigh as heavy.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you got people calling and complaining,
And the
like, I
business
can't
is
get
based
through.
on that.
And the
business
business
is
makes a
based
lot
on
of money off of
Yeah.
that. That makes a big
Yeah.
deal. Because I know Submerged it did because you got so many doctor's offices calling
And
in.
Apple, yeah,
That's
the
how they making
doctors,
their orders.
the
So if we're making
place
our
dealing
orders
with
off of these
healthcare.
phones, then you need to be on these phones.
Let me
Good
ask
take
this.
so far.
All right, this is
Yeah.
good feedback. So let me ask this. Let's go to page 645 really quickly. And all we did was just come out of what should be a part of your interview, like your resume, your portfolio, and what kind of things will be in there, and topics and issues you can maybe talk about is maybe like your attendance, your strengths, your weaknesses, your ability to be a team player, your philosophy on skin, like in your product preference. So these are like topics that might be discussed in the interview, and that's on page 644. But I want to come to page 645, and I want to actually talk about the interview. So the moment you have been waiting for has arrived. You have been granted an interview. Many books are available about this. So you may want to spend some additional time browsing through them. Here are a few things you want to consider when we go into the interview. Dress, making sure you have your mitts, clean wipes, preparing, have your umbrella, be there on time, and all these other things that's listed on page 646. But my question is this: when you actually are on the interview, in the actual interview, we know how to prepare. We know to look up different research the company, know my questions so I don't forget. We get all of that. But when it comes down to the interview and you're actually meeting this person, you're in the place, do we, I ain't gonna say put on the facade, but I do want to say put on a representative because we don't know everybody yet. We just kind of stay neutral. Or do you be your totally brutal, honest self? Be who you are.
Corporate facade, service industry, I'm gonna be me.
I'm gonna go with her, but I'm gonna be me a little bit on the corporate, but
Wow.
half of it is a facade because you don't know what they want.
When I say
That's the
facade,
thing.
it
You don't
means
know
I'm just
what
not
they want.
giving you.
I'm
all
selling
of me.
myself,
I'm just
so I'm not really giving
what
you
you
the
want.
real me.
Yeah,
I'm
ask
giving you
me.
what I think you want because I don't even know what you want.
ask me, and I'm telling you, if it's the service industry, I'm gonna build that rapport. We're gonna
Yeah.
have more of a conversation. But if it's the corporate,
I'm
I'm in an
answering your
interview.
questions.
I'm sitting here and I'm waiting on you to talk to me. You ask me
Yeah.
a question. You're interviewing me.
I'm not giving you a
I
whole
already,
lot.
when you ask me what questions I have, then that's when I'm gonna talk. But I'm only giving you what you asked for.
So when you do an interview, my understanding when I do an interview, because I haven't really done interviews, to be honest with you, my understanding is I'm coming in ready to interview you.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna be blah 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 blah. Like, because I do know about your company when I walk in. I'm very knowledgeable about this, that, and the third. But in my mind, I'm thinking, what are you able to do for me, kind of sort of thing.
Yeah, and that's
And
when
I wanna
my
know-
questions coming in. When you ask
Yeah.
me, that's when my interview starts.
I got you.
But now you're gonna talk to me like Lick said. You're gonna ask me, what can I bring in? Who am I?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell you, and I'm not lying. I am a team player.
Gotcha.
I am a leader.
Gotcha.
I do have these qualifications. That is who I am. But I'm not gonna go and elaborate into all of that.
Got you.
Versus if I'm on a service end, I'm not gonna use those words. I'm gonna talk and give you situations,
Gotcha.
so you're gonna automatically see.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
she's
yeah.
a team player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gonna be more felt versus if we doing this interview and I know your company, maybe I don't really want to work here and I just want to come here because I need a check.
Yeah.
I already know my questions of what you can do for me. And when you tell me to pay, I know what my negotiating rate is, what I'm gonna ask
I
for.
understand.
But it's not, I'm not really giving because again, those
And that's
not
how
the
you're
jobs
gonna
I really want anyway.
Okay,
So
and
this
that's
is
what I'm
just
trying
for
to
a
figure
check.
out. When
Yeah.
you're in the interview,
Yeah.
do we just, and I'm not saying the word fake to mean fake. I'm just
Yeah,
saying, do
it's
I
a facade,
divulge
yeah.
all of it? Or
No.
do I just pretty much go according to how they're flowing? Or do I come in like, look, I'm looking for this. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, what is
I
that?
think it depends on if you want the job,
Yeah,
or
like,
if
yeah.
you need a job.
Yeah.
If you need a job, if I need a job, I'm gonna tell you anything you want to hear because,
Just
Okay.
on your face.
Okay.
because I need y'all to hire me.
Okay.
Still on the
Okay.
side.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what
If
I'm
I
saying.
want the job, like I'm not interested. Maybe because I came straight out of high school working in a call center.
Yeah.
That's not really something I'm interested in. I'm good at the job. I can do the job like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
I know how to read the script. I know how to find the information.
Gotcha.
My old supervisor asks me all the time, "Do you want to come back?" I don't.
Gotcha.
I don't. It's not interested to me.
Yeah.
However, if I needed a job, I know that, okay, y'all paying $16 an hour. We get paid every other week. I know it's overtime gonna be available. I know I can finagle. I know I can play the game. I know how to get off the phones. I know I can do quality or floor support. I know what
Gotcha.
I'm capable of bringing to the team. So if I wanted to go back, or if I, for some reason, needed a call center type job, I know how to get the job.
Gotcha.
If I'm going to serve in like a service world, like a restaurant or bartender or something, I'm going to be me because at this point, y'all need me because I'm also one of the top servers.
Okay.
Like I know what I bring to the table.
I'm gonna bring you
as
my
a
clients up in
server.
here.
So I'm going to give you myself.
Okay.
So because now at this point, you need me.
Okay.
I don't need. Well, they're always looking. Every restaurant is always looking for good servers.
Okay.
A good server is hard to come by.
So in the restaurant, is that skill or character?
I would say it's both because
Is that equal in restaurant? Like if I'm Chili's and I'm hiring somebody, a waitress, am I looking for skill or character or both?
you're gonna look for both equally, but for the simple
How do I
fact,
know based on your resume? Because of your experience or the interview?
both, because experience will tell you, okay, you've been at 7 restaurants. If you ain't never worked at a fast-paced restaurant and you going to Chili's, you probably won't last because Chili's is fast-paced. The tables turn faster than if you was to go to Ruth Chris.
But you in my interview, and I'm interviewing you, and your resume doesn't have a whole lot of experience in fast-paced restaurants. Character probably will override that because we can train you. Or you're saying I probably won't hire her because she ain't really working no fast.
No, character can override it if you have if you're like if you appear approachable, if you have nice things that you can bring, that you can describe for yourself to the table, yeah, you will get hired for the simple fact that you just won't start with 6 tables. You might only have 2 at a time.
And that's what I'm trying to gauge when
3
we're
at a
talking
time.
about in the interview, what's going to be something that's more beneficial. Yeah, you got your resume. Yeah, you armed with all of this right here. But again, I'm trying to get back to skill, character. And at this stage of the game, which one is really outweighing the other? So I'm thinking, even if a person does, or maybe not, have that much history and fast pace, whatever, if the character is awesome, meaning I can meet that person, they're genuine, I guess, or faking, I don't know. But that to me will seem like somebody I would want to work with versus your history of work with all, So for me, it just seemed like character would be very important inside of an interview. I would want you to meet me inside of an interview. When I was in a position to hire educators for Durham Beauty Academy, for an example, and it was my job as educational manager to hire teachers. And I see resumes, people coming in left and right. Mrs. Washington at the time, please, we need somebody to hire me 2 teachers, 1 for basic, 1 for advanced department, 1 for the clinic department. I need you to hire. I said, okay, boom. All these resumes, all this paperwork, all of that. But when they come into my office, and I'll go ahead and meet and look at the people, whatever the case may be, for the most part, 9.99999 recognize that I'm meeting the person's representative. I could never meet the real, look, I need a job. I will prefer that because I know who I'm dealing with, because it seems like 2 weeks down the line, it's like, yeah, she ain't taking medicine today. It's obvious. The person is crazy. And then they're not understanding that time I'm Googling who you is, so I get to see how your whole page look compared to what just happened, even down to the couple little incident what happened recently with the one that went. So my experience, I'm always meeting a representative. So I'm always trying to understand and learn better. Is it just better to come in and be who you are?
Yeah.
Because a person like me have a little sense of discernment where I'm like, give her a couple of weeks. She's going to reveal who she is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and so
that's better to me to come in the interview. But it depends, I guess you're saying, if you need a job or not. I'm gonna just
because I feel like this. If when you need a job,
I need a job. They was like, how you find us? I was on Indeed, and I was applying to everywhere, and this company hit me back. That could have got me hired. Because they was like, what you know? I don't know, Verisu. I was on Indeed. I needed a job. And y'all hit me back. This the second interview, so you must want me. Y'all like me in the first interview. That was a little bit of me, but at the same time, it was like, I just need a job.
I feel like it depends on your approach with it. Like
something, yeah.
Because if I say, Miss Daniel, I really need a job.
Right.
But you know my skill, are you saying, would you look at okay, she really need a job as she's really eager to work. She really is going to come. She's really going to perform because she needs this job. If she slack off, she knows she going to be needing another job. How are you looking at it? Because I look at it as, and whenever I have really needed a job and I'm basically willing to take whichever job I can get, after them 2 weeks, I'm no longer happy and excited. I'm burnt out because now y'all done worked me, and then the money don't equate to how much y'all worked me.
I understand.
So I feel like if I tell you I really need a job, how are you placing that? Okay, she gonna come to work. She gonna be on time. How are you placing it? Because a person who needs money is gonna come to work, be on time.
Absolutely.
Because my job did a background check and a credit check, and I told them on the real, I wasn't gonna go through with it because I don't have any credit. I didn't have any credit established at the time. I had student loans and but during the interview we talked about all that.
That's right.
I mean, I know what
because
y'all
you really
do
want to figure it out. You want to figure out, and I'm just looking at it on my end. I want to know what your goals are with the company. What are your plans for the next year?
I didn't go
and the way you answer that will let you know.
Yeah, I didn't go to my mom just died and I just finished this and I didn't do that. I don't want to do myself. I didn't give them all of me, but I did. I'm here because you called me back. You got and this is my second interview. I am very much interested.
I got you.
This is who I am. This is what I can do for you guys.
Got you.
Use those strong words.
That's right.
What I've accomplished.
That's right.
What I can do. You know what I'm saying?
And that's that.
And it was so crazy because the dude who interviewed me ended up being my manager for 8 years, and we was tight like that.
Wow.
We was so tight like that all the time. I'm like, man, you knew something when he was like, yeah. And he said the same thing. He said, I went and looked at your Facebook. I was like, let me block. That's when I knew company, because this was in 2013. Companies was really going to Facebook, whatever. And he was like, I could tell, you didn't have no messy stuff. And even when you was in here, he was like, And I was like, dang. And he was a little white man. The whole time I'm thinking he a little off white man. He wasn't like him or trying to be urban, but I didn't think we would end up being cool like this.
Gotcha.
Like he helped me really level up in that company the first 8 years of us working
Your
together.
son like,
So it's like, dang, giving who you are will help.
Absolutely.
But sometimes in certain situations for certain companies,
You don't have to divulge
You do have to,
everything.
yeah.
I got it. All right, guys. So let's wrap this up. On page 648, when we're talking about moving from school to work, it mentions this, that entering the workforce is an exciting time. Amongst this newfound excitement, keep in mind that earning a salary commands a new level of responsibility. So as a student, chances are, highlight this. As a student, chances are you were given many opportunities to perfect your skills, performing procedures several times before you got it right. And so you want to be sure, continue highlighting to having instructors to guide you and peers to support you, no doubt gave you a good deal of security in trying to learn that trade.
yes.
Now, when we come down to thriving in a service profession, you want to go ahead and highlight the bullet 1, professional appearance. Professional appearance, we kind of learned that in professional image. I think chapter 4 was that one. Maintain a clean, neat work environment, so on and thus forth. So these again are like cliche things to just be mindful of: honesty, positive attitude, so on and thus forth. Over page 649, as we get ready to come to a close, when we're joining a successful business, of course, this is an opportunity to work with other people. So being a team player, obviously, is going to be something that most of the companies will prefer, obviously. So right up under being a team player, highlight this first sentence, that most skincare businesses employ several individuals and are dependent upon their working cooperatively to achieve success. So we want to be able to work together. Obviously, especially in a fast-paced type of company, you got to be a team player. And again, we know that makes all the difference. So some of those good components are on page 650. You want to be dependable, cooperative, supportive, responsible, caring, respectful. These are all things that we kind of know. Recognizing the value of policies and procedures. Why are policies and procedures in place?
Make sure that the systems and the business runs according to how it should be.
Okay.
Most of the time it's for safety purposes.
You cannot come in when you want to come in.
Yeah.
This is not your business, it's my business.
Right. Policies and procedures are in place for that reason. Lyra, what were you going to add?
Most of the time it's for safety.
For safety as well, okay? Safety, I would definitely agree. All of that is correct. Consistency as well. So don't nobody feel like you're picking on me and you didn't tell her to do that. So when we're following procedures and policies, nobody can feel, isolated, if you will, or picked on. So that's other reasons why as well. Let's go to job description on page 653 and highlight what a job description is. You might very well see the definition: a list of duties or responsibilities that you are to perform is considered your job description. So on page 654, the job description might entail some of the things that you see here, like conduct spa services, recommend products, educate clients. This might be your job description. Follow up on phone calls. You might be asked to investigate new products and techniques. They might want you to promote sales. And then in addition to that, you might have to schedule appointments. They might need you to confirm appointments, file client data, so on and thus forth. How often should a person, especially being new, get a evaluation? How often should a person get an evaluation?
Every 90 days.
Okay, all right. So ideally about maybe sometimes they'll do your first 30 days and then from there they might do a quarterly, but after a year maybe being on, you'll get an annual evaluation, if you will, to kind of keep up what you would need to know moving forward. Any compensation might be talked about at that time, just how you're growing or maybe not growing and so on and thus forth. So we know what an evaluation is about. Let's go to compensation as we get ready to close out. The different ways we are able to get paid. Obviously, this is a big component when we're dealing with the different methods of payment. So go ahead and highlight salary. Salary, you already know, is what I'm getting paid an hour. Go ahead and highlight on page 658 when we're talking about commission. This is basically a percentage of what you are making, which you totaled out. And then the hybrid pay structure. Many salons are now using a combination of salary and commission. So you might be able to have the option of getting paid $22 an hour, but that company might very well allow you to tap into making some profit off of the retail that you sell specifically. Instead of just selling the retail, they're saying, hey, if you sell this amount, you will go ahead and get 20% off the retail as well. That's considered a hybrid pay structure. There are other wages to consider, like your tips and these type of things that we know will also need to be brought up in your taxes as well. That is a write-off as well, included in your wages as well. So gratitude is definitely a way to get paid as well. So independent contractors on page 660. Some of us may be considered 1099. So if you decide to work for yourself, or the structure at the particular company allows you to be an independent contractor, again, you are working for yourself. This is like your whole booth renting situation. You know, that's your structure. You're not an employee at that time. How many of us budget?
I do.
You budget?
I do.
Okay.
I do what I can.
Okay.
I do what I want.
Yeah.
Okay,
what I mean.
Do whatever you want. Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
do
my
that.
goal to never have a budget.
Never have a budget.
What is that?
Now, budgeting is allocating, you know what I'm saying? Allocating what's going where, what needs to go where, how much I took in, how much is going out.
I have to, because things switch up. Like
No, I
my
don't.
car payment, right? I had a car payment. Now I don't have car payment. So now, how much more can I switch over to savings? The light bill going up now. Okay, well, how much now am I not going to be able to save? Or I owe the IRS. So it's like things change that are, money is coming out. And once that's paid off, now there's money to be saved. So budgeting is still like how much is going out.
Yeah.
Some bills are the same every month, like the rent.
I'm with
That don't change. But this light bill,
Right.
the water bill kind of fluctuates. It's still
Okay.
around the same. No, so
Yeah.
some things are consecutively the same.
Absolutely.
But life happens and things change. So, I mean, for me, I do live check to check, but I also have a little savings. And if I don't budget, then I don't know how much I can
And
put
here,
and save.
and here's what I want to add to the whole idea of budgeting. I'm going to recommend, if you don't budget, begin to do that, only because you're now entering or adding the addition of your own business
Right.
now. So some people, home-wise, their residents don't get into the budgeting. But because you're going to be adding a commercial or your business into it, you really want to adopt, really learning how much am I really spending on
Right.
me going out to eat. Because I have gotten better over time with this philosophy. If I can't track it, I can't see it, I can't grow it. So if I cannot see it, I don't know how I'm going to grow it. Because even if I got $20, there's still a way to kind of grow even that, by way of not spending it, or maybe putting $5 in the tank and not driving as much. Then I got 15,
yeah.
But if you can't see it, you can't grow it.
My Uber
You
Eats,
can't
I
grow
was every other day was like $90. I
You can't see, you can't spend it either.
But I had to see that to know that is definitely one thing I need to stop.
Absolutely.
I can't buy us this every other day,
Right.
and it's $100. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? Like that's
Ridiculous.
now we got to scale back.
Yeah.
Put this towards something else, or just save it or something else. Cause
But that's the point with this whole budget. And so I wanted to bring that up because it's going to be important, not only the personal on page 661, but also because we're adding on our businesses. So you really want to tap
and
into
like
that.
you said, if you can't afford the next product, then you need to be planning on which one you can afford
Absolutely.
in the meantime, because
Absolutely.
things happen. Yeah.
Absolutely. Larry,
Which
what you
is-
add something?
I think the budgeting is, so for me, I'm one of those people, I need to be overstocked because I understand that things
Yeah.
happen, like
Yeah.
every
From the
month.
dry period, from the dry spells, you want to have.
So like I'm saying like overstock, like with my monomer. if Young Nails have a sale and it's $160 for a gallon,
Gotcha.
even if I have 2 bottles of monomer, I'm about to buy the gallon because it's 1 on sale and two bottles is 32, 64 ounces and
I'm
will
with
last me
I'm with
all year. So I like to be overstocked. That way, if I run out of money today,
Yeah,
I can afford to do
yeah. You still like the
$30
inventory.
Like,
to
yeah,
get it
I can
done.
still make the
Mhm.
money without feeling like I'm about to be back out, gotta restock
Right.
like that. So I budget like that based on like, okay, I already got my number for 3
Gotcha.
4 months. I got buffers and files for 3 4 months.
With it, yeah.
Got my acrylic for 3 4 months. Y'all
Yeah.
can come get these plain sets for $25. Y'all keep saying y'all want
with it.
$25 nails.
Mhm.
I got you. Come on.
Yeah, I got
Because the 25 gonna add up versus having nobody in the chair.
absolutely.
Now I'm having
And no
nothing.
inventory.
Yeah, and no inventory.
So I ain't got a way to make no money.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then you
Right.
figure
That's what I did though.
I
Yeah.
need a way to make the money, and as long as you have the products, you can make the
Good,
money.
yeah.
It might not be what you would normally charge or what you want, but
But you're able
it's
to
gonna
make it
add
done.
up. So
Alright.
I definitely budget with inventory because people like everything is so expensive. If y'all don't come, I don't have money. So it's kind of one of them things where it's like I do need y'all to come,
Yeah.
and if y'all don't got the money,
Okay, you definitely can come.
I don't have the money. So it's kind of, I don't want to say, like Brittany said with the nails, like, yeah, I do need to up the price. And I could afford to up the price a little bit. I can't afford to run specials right now because my prices are already so low. I'm going to be burnt out. But if I up the prices, I can afford to give them a
Absolutely.
little discount or give them a sugar scrub or
with it.
whatever. I can give little goodies and stuff that people like
Right.
because I budgeted for it.
Well, that concludes, guys, the career planning. Planning for your success is real cliche, and then when it's talking about continuing, your education on page 663, real cliche things. They just talk about the CA hours, making sure you go to these trade shows, and just continue your willingness and your eagerness to get things done. And that's basically it. So we will have all day to kind of prepare for testing out. I definitely will have us test out on 21 a day.
How many
So that
questions
way-
on the test?
I'll go ahead and grab that, and then that way that'll be ready to rock and roll. And then this evening we can go ahead and introduce 22. Just depends on how many of us are able to get out of 21.
Because
Oh, yeah, dreamy.
who's draining?
Wow.
How?
I'm draining.
How dreamy.
How?
Good talking to me. That's what I want to do. Talking about jobs that y'all ain't about to have no more interviews.